So talk about Women at Wow now in terms of how does somebody get involved? What's the process? How often are you meeting?
Yeah. So if anybody wants to join Women Who Wow, I would recommend that they message me, right? m.me/Women Who Wow. And we have a friends and family link that will save them a couple $100. And it'll also lock them in to one-on-one time with me. New members who just kind of find us randomly, they don't get that one-on-one time with me. But Women Who Wow, the membership is, multimedia. And so what that means is, you get some information that's delivered via Zoom. It's recorded and then put on our YouTube channel. You get the entrepreneurial espresso, which is served up hot and fresh every single morning. It's one of the top benefits. I just kind of threw it out there a couple of years ago, and people loved it, and they look forward to starting their day like that every day. We do, yeah, we do a weekly training every Tuesday. We have the warehouse, which is our our virtual co-working space on the last Tuesday of the month, where we get to do some like live Q&A, and people just schedule those hours to like work on their sales pages or work on their business when they know that I'm right there in the warehouse if they have any questions. We have e-coaching. We have a ton of benefits within the walls of Women Who Wow. And so the best thing is to reach out to me, m.me/Women Who Wow, and tell me about who you are. And I can send you a friends and family link. You can go to womenwhowow.com and start checking out our benefits. But if you want to join, I'd recommend you reach out to me.
Do you think that the print strategy that you used however many years ago, do you think that you could do that exact same thing and it would work today?
Absolutely. Keep in mind, this was just 2017, right?
Oh.
Like this was recently. And so if people, push back on it then, right? I think it would even work better now. Why? Because not a lot is getting delivered in the mail anymore, right? Like people cherish these things. It also, the invitational approach to growing your business, far more attractive than like constantly peppering people with messages. It creates the environment of an exclusive environment. It also lets them know people love to be invited, right? So you're actually invited to participate in something. And so, yeah, it would work. I think it would work even better today. And I kind of did it clunky back then. I wasn't sure what I was building. But yeah, absolutely. And I would recommend that anybody who's serious about their bottom line somehow incorporate direct mail into their business, actual print mail with a stamp. And if you look at any of these companies, like Untuck It is Untuck It was on like Shark Tank, right? They're meant to be an e-commerce brand.
These are the stamps I've been recently sending. They got
Oh yeah, good.
Bugs Bunny.
But these companies, even though they're e-commerce companies, they have a direct mail component. And I'm sure they prefer not to, correct? It's expensive. I'm sure they prefer not to. But bottom line, they need to. I mean, like, is it Airbnb has an amazing print magazine that they use. Like when Zuckerberg, when he wanted to get something out there on Facebook, he could have like halted our Facebook and made us watch a video or whatever. But nah, he took out full page, ads and like USA Today and all these different papers. Like you need to get in front of your market on less busy platforms. And so I recommend that direct mail.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of mail in general. I think, as a guy who wrote a book on being an anomaly, I look at that as, okay, like if I'm going into someone's mailbox, what can I do to make sure that I'm that thing that they remember from that mailbox? So if my mail looks like everyone else's, it might be considered junk mail in that kind of way. So do things that are a little different. Yep. Have colored cards. Have Bugs Bunny stamps, or something ridiculous in there to get that person's attention. I think will increase that they will look at it, and I think it's there. One thing that I think is interesting, and I should have looked for this earlier, but when I was doing my other podcast, Zack Miller Says, way back when I had you on the show, I would send a handwritten card to every guest afterwards. You never received one from me, and I know why, because I could never find your address. And That is a hard thing to do, is find people's address. So I actually had written out the card already, and I for whatever reason, I just never got your address. Maybe you just didn't give it to me or something like that. But like somewhere in a box, there is a letter, a handwritten letter that says, "Thank you for being a guest on the show." How do you get people's addresses though? Because I mean, I think that would be, that to me, that would be the number one pushback, is I can't find their actual address where they look at stuff.
It's funny because I remember when I was doing my Anything for Money tour, the At Home Secretary tour. I remember I went to the shopper and I asked them, and my thought was,
and the shopper is a local Chesapeake based, like little in mail box. Yeah. Advertorial.
And my thought was, everybody that was in the pages of the shopper, all of them were paying for their business. They were investing in their business. They might need like some virtual assistant, or back then, at-home secretary work, right? And so that was my thinking. And I remember I made the pitch to the editor saying like, hey, why don't we do like an event? I can show up and I can teach on whatever. I forget. I felt like it was a strong pitch. And she said to me, if you want to reach my advertisers, you can advertise. And I said, no, ma'am. If I want to reach your advertisers, I'll just call them, right? Because they're public, right? And so when I first started inviting people to Women Who Wow, I figured out who I really wanted to attend, who I would be proud to stand, shoulder to shoulder with. And I, would call their office and say, hey, what's the best mailing address to use, right? It was grunt work. But nowadays you could have an assistant, do that. You can have your, obviously your email provider can also collect physical mailing addresses for people. So it takes a little bit more effort, but it's pretty easy to do, right? And I tell you, I've had assistants who in the past who are like, oh, I couldn't find, whether it's like I have a book coming out and it's specific to the coaching industry. And so I want to mail it, right? Like an advanced copy to a few organizations who should have me there speaking. And so I've had a few assistants who are like looking and like, oh, I can't find their mailing address. And I'm like, well, did you call? No, I didn't call. Did you email? No, I didn't email. Well, you just got to ask them, right?
I think I asked you and you didn't respond.
Sorry.
I didn't call though. But I mean, like we had a call like this. I blame you.
I will take that. I apologize.
Yep. And I'm not going to go find that old letter. I'm just going to keep it and I'm going to tell that story again. There it is.
Stuck at your home office, socially distanced coffee shop, or your fancy all bricked out corner office, wondering why no one can see your business and sales are all over the place? Sounds like you need a pro. That's why I developed the Anomaly Academy. Insert clever copy here. Oh, I guess I was supposed to put something else there. Oops. You can grab access to the Anomaly Academy now at zackmillersays.com/Anomaly Academy.